Austin, Texas is changing every day, but one constant is Dirty Martin's Place on Guad. Dirty's recently celebrated 98 years young, and the future is solid. And this space in the back is open to host any event, personal or business related.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel here at Dirty Martin's. We're in the Burn Orange Room. We are currently booking a lot of parties back here. If you can see, we got a capacity for about 90 people, but we are excited to host any party that you might want to bring.
Give Daniel Young a call at Dirty's to reserve this space for any event that you can think of. Well, good morning to you. Thanks for watching another episode of Stories Inside the Man Cave Podcast. This series is called Coffee with Clynch, Raise 'em Up, Special Mug. It's a C. Clearly obvious what that's for, the last name. Good morning to you, and thanks for joining me for episode 402. And Coffee with Clynch is brought to you by Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something, and they have been with the Stories Inside the Man Cave Podcast for quite some time now. We are very grateful for them, but I am Sean Clynch, your host of this podcast, and God, I do look like I literally rolled out of bed because I did. Happy Wednesday morning to you, and let's get this day started. And before you do that, after this podcast, go ahead and like us on Facebook, IG, X, YouTube, and on TikTok. So many platforms, so many to keep up with and try to manage. But yeah, it's essential these days. Hey, there was an episode, I want to say in 2023. Good friend of mine, Jay Bulware, a college football assistant coach. After my mom passed, we had a good conversation on the phone. And in part of this deep conversation, he mentioned 3 letters, an acronym, QTR. And it has stuck with me since, and I had never heard of it until Jay mentioned it, because we were talking about moving forward in life and not lose sight of our own quality of life. And it's quality time remaining. And it really made me think, and that was in May of 2023, that I had been living my life so much for other people. You know, not that I lost track of who I was, but, and the reason I bring it up, because I had another conversation with a friend of mine, not a coach this time, and he knew about it, QTR. And I thought, in all the conversations I have with people, I keep thinking there's a reason why you have these conversations and these subjects come up. And I kept thinking, wow, this friend of mine's talking. Wow. QTR brought up in another conversation over a year later. And I just was in my head trying to evaluate how he was indirectly trying to influence me maybe to reevaluate. And I did. And, I came up with this, you see the big picture, whether people you associate with, have relationships with, and even your own career and something like this on my side, the podcast. It's not my day job, but kept thinking, it's going to be a good subject for Coffee with Clynch, and raise your mugs up. But I had to reevaluate what I'm doing right now. And the reason why I bring this up, because I'm trying to influence a positive message for you today on all these episodes of Coffee with Clynch, thinking about, life is really short when you think about it. And when you allow your past to influence and infiltrate your current relationships, it's not productive. It's cancerous. And when you allow things, you put it in perspective, your past to dictate maybe or pause the future on what you have in your life currently, man, that is so powerful because I think we're all guilty of that. And I think that I've been still focused on certain things in life that I am damaging my QTR, my quality time remaining, which at age 51, I honestly, I want to live till 91, 40 more years, but those 40 years go by so quickly. So to get the return on investment in life, whether it be in my relationship or in relationships with friends, a love interest, and just life in general, make the most out of it by not allowing some bad experience that happened recently, or maybe you had employment with a long-term employer, or maybe a client that you have that just soured, or even a relationship that soured, a marriage or something like that. And you're allowing that to dictate your future with your current relationship or your current employer or your current project. Quality time remaining. Go experience the world. And I just had to pass that along. Experience the world, experience things, experience new things which add value to your life, and not push away what's in front of you or damage what's beside you or in front of you, which brings positivity to your life. And that more so applies to me instead of this message I'm trying to relay to you. But live that life. Experience those things. Quit saying maybe or yeah, another time. That QTR should dictate you to say yes more, to go and experience those things, and with that special person or friends. I hope I didn't get too deep. Also, we always talk about conversations about things in the water cooler. I know this podcast is sports centric, and we can't end it without something sports centric. And we got to talk about those Texas Longhorns. Right now, arguably, they're number 2 in the country, but man, they look like, and some people are referring to Texas as perhaps the best team in the country. The Texas Longhorns, 2-0 in the year. They've given up a total of 12 points, and it's still too early to truly evaluate any team in college football or any level of football. I mean, look, the NFL's just played one game. We're in week 2 of that season, and in high school as well. It's too early to truly judge a team. But if you've seen Texas these first 2 games, a win over Colorado State, 52-0 at home. They go to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yes, Michigan is not the team it was last year, the national champions. But to go in the big house and win the way Texas did, 31-12, that's impressive. That's impressive. They completely dominated. And one area of this Texas team, other than they obviously have a solid quarterback in Quinn Ewers, and they lost a great deal on defense, but it just seems it's not that they haven't missed a beat, but this is the most physical, fine-tuned, well-oiled, well-executing team at Texas I've seen in a long time. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, as of today, these Longhorns are probably the second best Texas team as of today this century. And one reason is how physical they are. I mean, these guys will knock your block off. And one play, for example, against Michigan, a swing pass to running back Trey Wisner. Gets it on the side in front of the Michigan sideline, goes up the sideline. Instead of running out of bounds, he decided to invite contact and physically engage with that Michigan defensive back, which resulted in that DB on the ground. That is one of those plays which sets the tone in a college football game. And Steve Sarkisian talked about increasing that physical activity and setting that tone of what the expectations are. And this is what Sark had to say about what the Longhorns routine is to maintain that level of physicality.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we do team run, and we do good on good team run. It's only for 6 plays, but there's a mentality in that of, hey, there's no passes. We're going to run the ball. Everybody's going to strike. We're going to have lower pads. We're going to have our hands inside. We're going to run our feet. We're going to do those little things. And we do tackling drills to start, Tuesdays and Wednesdays practices and ball security drills. And we're punching at the ball. So I just think over time the repetitions add up. But also there's a mentality that the guys know that we need to play with. And they also know on Mondays I'm going to show good, bad, and ugly. And I'm going to show the physical plays where we do show up like a Trey Wisner. And I'm going to show plays when I think guys are turning it down. And that's not acceptable in our program.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm somewhat of a deep thinker on occasions. And I like to dig deeper for that message that Steve Sarkisian brings for his team, that, the expectation is set. And if you don't invite it, you don't invite maybe a tough decision. You don't invite that physical contact for this example. But if you avoid the tough situations, you're never going to we are not going to improve. Take that tough situation, make that tough decision. But also, to encapsulate the episode of this, take on the tough, be tough, and also benefit from your QTR, quality time remaining. That's it. Mugs up. Cheers to you. And I wish you nothing but a positive day and great rest of your week. And, just think about it, that QTR, because there's some beautiful things all around us and in front of us in our lives. Man, pour into them and pour into your life as you move forward and make things happen. There's only one option. That's to be happy. Cheers.